obviously someone who did make a difference was Bukayo Saka for England. He scored his 13th goal for England, which, if I believe I read this stat correctly, is now the highest scoring Arsenal player for England of all time, with 13 and 45 appearances. But Thomas Tuchel came out after the game, talked about Saka, and he didn't seem too happy with the player. He's let me go just quickly find so Thomas Tuchel was basically, he made a bit of an odd comment when he heard about how many goals Saka had scored for Arsenal, which was 13. He said, how many goals did he score for England? 13? 1-3? Like he said, with a bit of confusion on his face, apparently. Yeah, so Bukayo Saka's last year, I say 2025, been far from the best year he's had, or the best 8 months he's had so far in football. He's had his injuries. He's got like 3 non-penalty goals in the Premier League in the last year, sort of like two or three since November 2024. And Tuchel agreed that Saka, although he stepped up when he scored against Wales, he basically called on Saka to say, "You are nowhere near a guaranteed person on my plane." Is pretty much that's the vibe. What he says, he'll fight for he'll fight for his place with England. This is what we demand from Bukayo Saka, because he's been praising Madueke's performances, because Saka's missed out on a couple of England squads since Tuchel took over, and Madueke's come in. He's playing Madueke, obviously, when he wasn't injured. He's played well for Arsenal, and he's played well for England. And it's just kind of interesting from Tuchel that he's saying that one player who you'd think ideally would be part of England's best three, of everyone talks about the Rashford, Kane, Saka trio up front. That's like the holy grail of forward lines for England at the moment. That he's come out and said such a key player has got to fight for his place.
Well, look, I think there is a good. There's a sense of having competitiveness. Like that, England are stacked. Let's be honest. Like with so much talent, especially across that front line. Why can't I talk today? So I like kind of like the thought process behind that, of being like, no one's safe. It doesn't mean anyone's guaranteed a space or come into the World Cup type of thing. But let's be honest with you, like, there's no chance in any team that Madueke starts over Saka. Like, if you actually want to go and win something. And that is not because I don't rate Madueke. It's just because look at what Saka has done for England over the years. Look at what Saka has done for Arsenal over the years. Even when Arsenal were rubbish, he'd carried them on his back, essentially. Like, I don't know. I don't know whether like Thomas Tuchel just like I don't think he like wants to rub people up the wrong way, but there is this kind of thing around Thomas Tuchel that like a lot of people are like, oh no, I think the England manager should be English and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, he's obviously not on a long contract. And whether or not we go and win the World Cup, I feel like if he doesn't, then there'll be lots of people being like, we should never have had him in the first place. I don't know. I mean, for me, there's no argument. Saka is obviously on that plane. Saka is obviously going to the World Cup. And you do want to have options, and you do want to have competitiveness to make people work harder. It's the same in any squad, whether that is at club level or international. But it's a bit of a bizarre comment.
Yeah, I've got the whole comments here. I'll read out for you, and also you guys at home if you missed it. It's, how many goals did he score for England? Tuchel queried. 13, 1-3. It has to be more. It's not enough. He needs to keep on going. I thought it was 30 at least, and then I would have said it's not enough, because I'm never satisfied. He is such a threat for Arsenal in the most difficult league in the world, so why would he not be at international level? We have the position for him. He has the attitude, the stamina, the talent, everything to be a top player at international level, and that's what he has to show. We can just encourage him to be influential like he was today. Next game, he needs to try to repeat it. Saka himself said after the game to Sky Sports, he said, the way I perform for Arsenal, I want to take it into England and perform better in those games and be more effective. So I think Saka's agreeing to an certain extent there with Tuchel, saying he knows he's got to step up. Because Saka, I remember when he came through, when he first played for England, he was 19 years old. It was the 2021 or Euro 2020 when Saka was starting for England on that right wing place, I think at 19 years old. And
sensational.
It was incredible to see him come in, and he was starting against Germany in the 2-0 win against Germany. He was fantastic. But I think, as has happened so many times with so many England players, is that they're so good for their clubs, and then when it comes to international level, something can't quite click. Like previously, obviously, we've seen it with the quote-unquote golden generation that Gerrard was obviously part of and then recently slammed. Gerrard basically said that, oh yeah, we're all just being like really egotistical people that were walking around not talking to each other. And we know how much of a mess that was. Southgate and now Tuchel have done really well with England to properly like get everyone harmonious, on the same page, but now it's about performances.
Yeah, which, look, selection should be based on performances, but I don't think you could ever sit there and say that Bukayo Saka has not performed for England. Yes, there's always room for improvement with all players, especially within that England squad, because again, let's be honest, we've got to finals and whatever, but it hasn't been particularly playing well. Probably the Euros, that was the only time I can think that actually England genuinely looked really good, getting to, that stage of a competition. So I don't think that it's necessary to just talk about Bukayo Saka in that. I think that goes across the entire England squad. I think that sometimes the way in which we've set up under Gareth Southgate, I don't think brings out the best in certain players. I don't think that allows the freedom for someone like a Foden or someone like a Saka to really be able to go and do what they do at club level. It's very different club level to international football, very different way of playing. Also, you have to think about the cohesion. You're playing with players in your squad every single week. You're training with them every day. Every time you go and do an international camp, yes, that at the moment there are quite a few international breaks, but generally there's not that many. And yes, you know each other and they know each other from England camp and playing together, but some people that come into the squad, you don't get much time to build that type of dynamic and cohesion you would have with, the player that's next to you or the fullback that's behind you. So I think that just kind of goes across every England player, because this is a massive tournament. Obviously, it's the only one. This is the only one, isn't it, that Thomas Tuchel will be at? Yeah, his contract was a year and a half.
His contract ends at the end of
the tournament. So for him, it's obviously, I go places, I win things, and therethere's even more kind of weight on him for that. And like I said earlier, that people will be like, well, if you still don't do anything, if we, the whole thing was based on like Gareth Southgate, essentially, like that's why they're not getting across the line. We've got the squad of players, we've got the talent, blah blah blah, and then we've
not
changed
got the
that.
Manager to get it out
not
of them
got
at
the manager
level, yeah.
So now we've got the manager in theory, and in practice that obviously does go and win things. So if it doesn't happen for us in America, then what next?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like we mentioned on the show yesterday, I was talking to Jack about this, about Tuchel's, future with England. I know obviously like you don't think about this too much, but because his contract is literally, as soon as the World Cup's over, his contract expires. It's like that's the end of it immediately. It feels like they've basically gone, if you win it, you'll get another one.
Yeah.
Like it feels like, because England have got to the two finals in recent years and they've failed in the last hurdle both times. They've not won the game, be that on penalties or like a kind of losing to Spain, obviously. It's almost become, because it's like been two finals, England's the only measure of success for England now is winning the entire thing.
Yeah.
Like, anything else is just stacking up as, you did the same job as the last guy and we just got rid of him.
Yeah.
So Tuchel has to win it. And I want to ask just the comments. So you guys on YouTube, obviously, if you're watching at Samsung TV as well, hello, nice, thank you for joining us. But those of you in the YouTube comments, or if you are watching Samsung TV and you want to get involved, let me know what you think about Tuchel.